Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Let me begin by thanking you, Mr. Attorney General, and all of the very dedicated professionals, all of the employees of the Department of Justice for the great work that they do day in and day out. A lot of it underappreciated. I say that as an alumnus of the Department of Justice, a former United States Attorney, but the work that you and your team have done to restore the confidence and trust of the American public in our Department of Justice, I think, is one of your enduring contributions. Let me begin with areas where I think we have a high level of bipartisan agreement. First of all, on the Wagner Group, Senator Graham and I are the principal sponsors, along with Senator Whitehouse, of a measure to declare the Wagner Group a foreign terrorist organization. You would agree that, assuming the State Department goes along with us, that it is worthwhile doing?
Yeah, look, Mr. Prigozhin, who runs this thing, is, in my view, a war criminal, and maybe that's inappropriate for me to say as a judge before getting all the evidence, but I think we have more than sufficient evidence at this point for me to feel that way. And I believe that that group, which is responsible for the attacks on Ukrainians in the Donbass, including by bringing in prisoners from Russian prison camps as cannon fodder, it's just it's unfathomable what they are doing, and everything we can do to stop them, we should do.
Senator Whitehouse and Graham and I have been working on aiding Ukrainian prosecutors in bringing to justice those war criminals, not only Prigozhin, but others who tied the hands of women and children behind their backs, shot them, buried them in mass graves, which I have visited among my 3 trips to Ukraine. Can you commit to the Department of Justice will support the Ukrainian prosecutor who is hard at work right now in trying to bring to justice those war criminals?
And not only will I commit, but I'll tell you I've done that. I've met twice in person with the current Prosecutor General, Prosecutor Kostin. I met in Ukraine with the previous Prosecutor General. We have established a war crimes task force in the Justice Department to assist our forensic agents are on the ground now in Ukraine to assist, to teach, to assist in the development of the forensics necessary to do those. I have met with Eurojust and Europol to work on help them develop the kind of infrastructure necessary to prosecute these cases.
Thank
you. Have our wholehearted support in your efforts here.
Thank you. Next week, Senator Hawley and I are going to have a hearing on Section 230 reform, the first of a number of hearings that I hope will lead to legislation. I hope it will be bipartisan legislation. The Solicitor General, in her argument on Gonzalez, I think made a number of important points on differentiating third-party content from platform design. In other words, Section 230 could cover content that users post, but when YouTube or others design their products in specific ways that cause harm or take steps to amplify or change content, that goes beyond the intent and the statutory language of Section 230. One example of the ways that I think we can achieve steps towards Section 230 reform. Another is the Earn It Act, which Senator Graham and I have sponsored, and we will introduce it again this year. I recognize that these are general principles. I hope the Department of Justice will support this effort. I hope that you will as well support efforts to take action against monopolistic endeavors like Ticketmaster. I understand that you commented briefly on it. Can you confirm that Ticketmaster is under investigation now?
Yeah, so the department doesn't confirm or deny the existence of these kinds of investigations until they reach an overt stage, as you know from your time as a U.S. attorney. But as I told Senator Klobuchar, we know, quote, all too well, close quote, the importance of competition in this industry as in all other industries. And so you can be confident that in all of our work, we approach it with an understanding that highly concentrated industries are a problem for competition.
In that concentrated situation where power is concentrated and you have violation of consent decrees twice, wouldn't it be appropriate for the Department of Justice to investigate?
As I say, I'm happy to talk in a hypothetical that in a case where someone violates the consent decree, of course, it would be appropriate to investigate, but I just don't want to talk about individual investigations and whether they're ongoing.
Let me ask you, the American public right now is hearing about investigations involving COVID, the sources of COVID in China, conclusions with low confidence, high degree of confidence. Can you, as an official in charge of intelligence and interpretations of intelligence, explain to the American people what it means for there to be low confidence or higher confidence when there are conclusions about, for example, the sources of COVID, whether it came from natural sources in China or from a lab leak? What does that designation mean?
I would have to say it, to my knowledge, I mean, these are labels that are applied by the intelligence community. So it's while I read the results, I'm not sure I can exactly define it, but I believe it is just as you would think. That if asked to make a decision and say yes or no, you say yes or no depending on the degree of confidence that you have that your yes or no answer is correct. So low confidence means you think the answer is yes, but you don't have high, you have low confidence in it. Medium is medium. You might answer, we don't know at all, but that's not what you're asking about.
So it's more than a hunch or a guess, but not quite
Yeah.
something to take to the bank.
Yeah, so there's a lot of criminal law ranging from Terry stops to probable cause to convictions. I don't think there is any law in the intelligence community that defines those specifically.
You wouldn't sanction a search or an arrest based on low confidence.
No, a search and arrest require probable cause. That's all I can say about it.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you.
After Senator Lee asks, we're going to take a brief